Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be breaking down some of the best throws in NFL history, and we're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals.
You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video.
Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so this should be a cool video. Just going to go through some of the best throws that we've ever seen in NFL history. And, you know, this video was actually made a few years ago, so it doesn't have any Patrick Mahomes videos or any Patrick Mahomes throws or Josh Allen throws, which makes me think I should almost just do a 2022 best throws just because I feel like there were so many great throws in, or I guess 2021, the last season that we had from Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, etc. And we'll go ahead and hop right into it here. So we're going to start off with Michael Vick. And, there's a lot of Michael Vick. There's a lot of Aaron Rodgers here. And this is that opening play that he had against the Washington Redskins. And we've seen this a lot of times, right, where he just does such a great job of being able to, one, load into the ground, right, get that arm back, that elbow back, get the hand away. So now he's stretching out the pec, and he's creating a lot of momentum from that back leg, right? So see how he's going, he's stepping off and keeping so much weight back. And then, as he's doing that, he's really, opening up that hip so you can see where that hip's at. And then he keeps those shoulders facing straight ahead. So then as he drives through the throw, he's able to put a ton on the actual ball. And, it stands out to me is just how much, we talked about this before, external rotation that he has in the shoulder. I know we can't see the ball great here, but we just see from where the trajectory of the ball is that ball is way back behind here, and he's got a ton of rotation, and then from there is able to drive the elbow through and finish through that throw. And at the end of the day, that is the key thing I think that has to happen in order to really generate a lot of power when throwing the football. And we have another great throw here. I mean, Aaron Rodgers just has so many just absolutely phenomenal plays, right? So here he's getting taken down, right? And he just basically flicks the wrist and throws the ball, right? He just generates some force off the ground, some vertical force off the ground, and is just able to somehow get rid of the football there, right? So we can see, again, extra rotation, getting that wrist around, right? Maintaining that position on the ball where his hand is in the control of the football, right? And then just flicking the wrist. Look how he flicks the wrist. He almost like snake bites it, right? When you can see just like his two fingers end up just being like the primary thing that he uses to be able to push off the football, which is kind of an interesting thing. I've never really seen that view and that kind of release there to be able to really break down and see what he does with the football in order to get the ball out of his hands. I'm gonna have to try that out and see how it works for me personally. And then we'll go to Eli Manning. This is obviously the second Super Bowl where it was the Patriots versus the Giants, and really not great mechanics here, right? A lot of things that we see where he falls off to the side a good amount, right? He ends up really opening up that front shoulder really early, but at the end of the day, he's in a good position with the wrist, right? He's behind the football. So then as he's able to get the ball out of his hands, he's able to, still maintain accuracy. I mean, at the end of the day, the more that you slow this down and the more that you look at it, this is just as lucky as you could possibly be in terms of where that ball ended up going, right? Because it was just such a perfect throw. But you could see like he's not even looking as the ball's coming out of his hand. He's basically falling over the side. He just like, was hoping that it ended up being somewhere in a position that the receiver would be able to make a play. And it ended up ended up working out. So some of it ends up being, when you're playing quarterback, some of it ends up just being how ballsy are you to be able to make the throw, right? Are you willing to just put the ball into a place where hopefully your receiver can go up and get it, right? You can't always just look to find the perfect scenario for where you want to end up putting the football. But yeah, and then we'll go into again another Michael Vick throw here. He's really fast at opening up that arm. He almost has that kind of baseball throw, but he also uses that arm to be able to pull back and drive that elbow through, right? And then what stands out with him has always been that wrist flick, how he's able to easily get that hand up over the top and then just roll right over with that hand, right? And I see that a ton with the top quarterbacks is they're able to, really effectively, you can see how great of a throw this ended up being, right in the right spot. I mean, that couldn't have been more accurate right there. But at the end of the day, right, you have to be able to have a lot of skill when it comes to or a lot of, I guess, balls is really the bigger thing. You know, have a lot of balls when it comes to making the type of throws that some of these guys are making, double coverage, triple coverage, things like that. And you got to be able to figure out how to master your wrist flick. I remember seeing this throw live. I still think this is the best throw I've ever seen, right? Because he is literally getting taken out simultaneously with this, right? If we watch from the backside, like he is getting taken out with his legs as he's releasing this football. So he's like fully in the air and just basically flicks his wrist and throws the ball a big, I mean, where is it? He's on like the 40 here, right? So he ends up throwing the ball probably 45 yards right on the money, right? Like maybe 50 yards. Double coverage, right in between two defenders. I mean, that's just I still think that's the greatest I've ever seen. I had to throw a Tom Brady one in here, right? I mean, they had a couple of them here, but there are some of them that were just like, whatever. There wasn't like anything too crazy that he did. But, you know, this one's a pretty cool one just because if we look at the back, you know, he ended up really putting it on like the perfect spot, like a line drive throw right over the defensive back's head. I think if the defensive back would have turned around, they probably would have been able to make a play. But, you know, great job rotating, getting the hand up over the top, right? See where he's releasing the football. That ends up, you know, time and time again being the key thing, right? We got to be able to get our wrists in the right position so then we can flick the ball, and that will allow us to be able to put more on the ball. So, you know, and I just recently started working with a guy that's like 6'3", right? Struggling a little bit with the ability to throw the ball far and accurately and things like that. And it's like, man, if we could just get you to be able to understand the importance of the wrist, right? And making sure that you get the wrist in the right position. Okay, so here's another example of what you want to be doing. Look at this slow, this is great angle right here. Okay, so we're getting to this position, right? And you can see how he gets the hand and pinky all the way around. And then from there, flicks the wrist and gets the palm all the way up and through. Okay, he's rolling out to his left here, turns real quick, and rotates those hips, gets that ball in the right position, right, and palm in the right position to then be able to really flick the wrist and throw the ball. And you can tell again, like how he holds the ball. He must hold it with like both fingers, like two fingers behind the throw to make it so then he could flick it with a little bit more kind of zest behind it. Again, I'm going to try to replicate that and see how that goes. And then I wanted to throw in a Dan Marino one as well to be able to kind of finish it off. And really I wanted to be able to throw in a couple videos here. Yeah, it was another Aaron Rodgers just absolutely dime, right? Where he's just throwing it in a place where only his receiver can get it. Look at this throw. I don't know how, you know, Aaron Rodgers is just so underrated in terms of how great he really is with how he is able to throw the football. That's why I did so many of these on Aaron Rodgers, because he has just so many throws that are just like, oh my gosh, that is unreal. But yeah, I mean, here we go. Dan Marino, nice quick release. Let's take a look at his release. Actually, we haven't done that in a little bit. 2-1-2-0, and he's got the ball out at. He's probably like 4'8", right? So he probably has about a 4'8", 0.28 release time. I know you can't see that too much, but 0.20 to 0.48, right? So he is definitely under 0.3, which is pretty impressive. I know I did a video before about where he was exactly with his release, but you know, I think he would be sub 0.3. He does a great job of just kind of loading into that back leg really easily, and just uses that force of kind of loading down to then drive that arm right forward and through. You know, I think that he had a very, very unique style and a very unique ability to be able to generate a lot of force beyond the ball, utilizing a lot of his momentum with his upper body. Very strong with his upper body. And, also uses his lower body. I don't want to make it seem like he doesn't use the lower body, but yeah, it really is effective in being able to generate a lot of power very quickly within, how he leans with the spine and how he's able to drive that front arm through or pull that front elbow back and use that to really drive the elbow, and has the timing to be able to do that, right? Because when you do all that type of stuff, when you add in more movement with the spine, right, and more movement with that front arm, it makes it a little bit more difficult to get that wrist into the right spot, right? So like the more, like when on deeper throws, when I really try to pull hard with that front arm, it makes it so that football is a lot more likely to kind of face off to the side, or a little bit harder for me to get up over the top with my timing. And so, got to be able to be aware of where that ball ends up being, or where that wrist ends up being, when you're trying to generate more rotation within that upper body. But yeah, so as always, guys, if you like the information, go and click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. I highly recommend you guys checking out some of the other things that we have, some of our other videos on our channel. Part of the reason I wanted to make this was to be able to hopefully get more people, more eyes on my channel in particular. And so one of the big reasons I want to make this video is just to get more eyes on my channel in particular. So if you want to learn more about how to throw the ball further, how to improve your mechanics, how to create more force off the lower body, how to be able to get yourself in the right wrist position, all those types of things are going to be on our page or in the description down below, as well as on our YouTube page. And then within that, we have individualized programs, right? So you have the ability to get breakdowns similar to this, where we could really slow down and see what it is that you need to improve. I highly recommend you do that, just because there's really no one else that at least I know of that is really going into the detail that we are when it comes to like the wrist flick and how to utilize your feet and the rotations that you need to be able to create, and when you want to be able to create those rotations in order to generate more velocity and more distance, and make it so you can keep your shoulder healthy, make it so you can keep your arm healthy. And all that is going to be, again, the description down below. We have a Throw 60 program, we have Quarterback University, we have individual throw breakdowns. All those things are going to be great to help you in being able to consistently improve as a quarterback. So check that out. If you don't have the opportunity, or you don't have the cash flow, right, the money to be able to actually buy one of these programs, then check out the YouTube channel, right? Like, subscribe, that really helps us out a ton. And looking forward to hearing from you, and I'll talk to you soon.